channel heads do, they do quite a few things. They act as catchers. What they do is, if for any reason there's residue on the tapes, they would become stuck on those channels. They wouldn't be laying around and scratching your ribbon. They would act as catchers. That's why whenever you clean the heads on a channeled drum, for example, this right here is a video head cleaning tip. Now, I gotta tell you, this is an animal product. This is made from goat's belly. So if for any reason you're vegan and you really don't love consuming animal products, I'll let you know this is an animal product. So whenever you clean video drums that do have channels, you will notice that you'll start getting these lines right here. That would be the actual channels. Now, regarding these two machines, there are no channels on the drums. They're pretty much smooth. So that's one of the other reasons why they require so much maintenance. The actual video head gets clogged more often since the drum doesn't have those channels. Now, another advantage of having a channeled drum is that it creates a cushion of air. It creates a cushion of air between the actual magnetic ribbon and the drum. That means that you have less friction between the recordable media and the drum itself. Now, I can tell you right now, neither one of these two machines have channel drums, and that's one of the many reasons why you have to maintain them. You have to clean the actual drum so often. All right. So now I guess let me kind of show you how you see. It was a little bit less involved to place a tape in here. You pretty much just go ahead and put it in here and close it up. That was it. You're done. You place the tape in here. Now, regarding this Quasar format, I mean VX format. Technically, this format is called VX. I just tend to say Quasar because this is in fact from the Quasar company. Now, let me tell you something about that Quasar company. Originally, it was part of Motorola. Motorola went ahead and they created a sister company called Quasar, and that was in Illinois. Back in Illinois, in U.S.A., they made the Quasar sister company, and they sold these machines in the United States. All right, so regarding this format, in order to place a tape on this format, it was a little bit more involved. Let me go ahead and do that right now. So I have a tape right here. Now the eject is very interesting. The eject is not right here in these buttons. It has a dedicated slider here. You have to press that down in order to pop up this mechanism right here. So let me go ahead and do that. You press this downward and that would pop this up. Okay, so you would place your tape in like so, like that, and you would push it down like that. Now, after you place that tape in there, you couldn't do anything. These buttons are rigid. You can't do anything. You have to move the slider here towards the right. Let me kind of tell you why. Let me show you another one of these tapes. I'm gonna leave that in there. Let me go ahead and get another one. As you can see, on these tapes right here, you have this gray colored plastic right here. When you move the slider over to the right, what the machine actually does, it removes this right here so it can actually get into the actual ribbon. Now, I've actually opened these tapes. I've done that 3 times in the past. Now, I gotta tell you, the amount of work which is necessary to reassemble this format, which is a v-cordII, this is a lot easier to reassemble compared to the VX format. Now, I've timed myself how fast I'm able to open one of these tapes and close it up again. and it's about 15 minutes. I can tell you, if you're very familiar with videotape technology, I can tell you it takes about 15 minutes to reassemble one of these guys. Now, these guys, it takes a lot more time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of dexterity. You almost need a third hand in order to reassemble these tapes. So in case you have one of these tapes and you're thinking about opening it to find out how it works, for example, I'm not the kind of person that cusses a lot. But if you happen to be a person that does cuss a lot, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be cussing a lot when you try to reassemble this tape right here. So I'm warning you, I'm letting you know, if you want to go ahead and see what's in here and you're thinking about reclosing it, you might be cussing a lot. It's very difficult. It's not impossible. I've done it 3 times. Okay, so let me go ahead and put these aside for now. Okay, now the way these two machines work, they're very different. I can tell right now, this machine has 2 motors, which is so weird. You would think a machine like this would have a lot more motors, but it doesn't. It has only 2 motors. It has one huge motor. I'm not kidding. It's pretty much powerful enough to power a small blender. Okay, talking about that, let me go ahead and talk about the power consumption, which I'm pretty sure would be something that you have to put into consideration back in 1977 if you were thinking about either purchasing this machine or the Sanyo machine. I can tell you. Now this is the back cover of this VX machine, and as you can see from right here, it says it consumes a maximum of 98 watts. Now by maximum, see, it does say 80. Now that's the minimum power consumption. That would be what you would be consuming if you were not using the dehumidifier, which is pretty much a small heater in here. It's a ceramic heater. If you did use the ceramic heater, you would be consuming a total of 98 watts. If you were not using that humidifier, you would be consuming 80 watts. So that would be something to take into consideration back in 1977. If you did use this machine, your electric energy bill would be higher than this machine right here. Now this machine right here consumes a total of 39 watts, which is less than half of what you would consume on this format right here. So that would be something to consider back in 1977. You would be consuming up to 98 watts here, and you would be consuming up to 39 watts right here. All right. Now, I've told you on my other videos regarding this machine has a total of 4 motors. I really don't want to focus too much on this machine. I really want to focus on this one right here. I do have them next to each other because of the fact that these two were sold in 1970s, and also the fact that these were in fact part of the format wars. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people focus mostly on the VHS and the beta machines. All right, let me go ahead and kind of demonstrate the amount of noise that you would have to hear when you use these machines. Let me go ahead and turn on this machine, and let me go ahead and press play and show you how much audible sound you would get out of this format right here. Okay, let me go ahead and press play. Okay, so that's the spooling mechanism right there. It's grabbing the tape. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty much the sound that comes out of this format right here. When you were either playing or recording, you would have to have this in the background which is not bad. It's not a lot. I mean, it is, considering something more modern, like a Blu-ray player. They're pretty much silent. So that's how much sound you would have to have in your background if you were using this format back in 1977. Let me go ahead and press stop. All right. So that's how much noise this machine creates. Now let me compare it to this Quasar VR-1000 machine. All right, here we go. Now this is a very loud machine. Let me go ahead and turn it on. And let me go ahead and press play. Now this is the play button right here. All right. Now, let me go ahead and spool it correctly. You know what? I actually have to rewind this tape. That's why it's not doing anything. Let me go ahead and press rewind. You know what? Let me go ahead and place another tape in here. I don't really want to have to wait till the whole tape gets rewound. Let me go ahead and place another tape in here. All right, there's another tape in there. Let me hit and do this right here. Let me go ahead and turn this on. Okay. There we go. Now, I don't know if you can hear it. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Like I said, this is going to be a very detailed video. Now, this right here, this is the largest of the two motors on this machine. This is a huge motor right here. I mean, considering it's a videotape machine, I have not seen a machine that has a larger motor than this. So that's the amount of sound that you would have to have in your background when you're using this machine. Now, right now, I'm actually not using the dehumidifier. Let me go ahead and activate that dehumidifier so you can kind of go ahead and hear how much noise that makes. That's this button right here. Let me go ahead and turn it on. Okay, now that's a lot of noise. If for any reason you had to use the dehumidifier on this machine, now that's a lot of noise. Let me go ahead and kind of zoom in on this right here. Okay, the actual dehumidifier is this right here. This is a ceramic heater, and that's blowing hot air. It's pretty much a tiny little hair dryer. That's pretty much what it is. And let me go ahead and stop that. Now, believe it or not, I have not had the need to use that dehumidifier at all since owning this machine. But that's one option they had on this machine, the dehumidifier. Now, there is no dehumidifier on the Sanyo machines. So let me go ahead and press stop. See how that sounds. Not much noise. You know why? Because the actual tape that's in here, it never leaves the actual cartridge. It stays in there. It never leaves. As you notice on this Sanyo machine, it took a while for it to get spooled around the actual video heads. So that would be something that you would have to take into consideration back in 1977, that it would take a lot longer to get an actual video out of this machine. You would have to wait about 3 or 4 seconds before this would actually get spooled and actual output. Now, you'll see what I'm talking about in my other video regarding my 8400 machine. When I press play on that machine, you won't see a video right away. It takes a couple seconds. Now, regarding this machine, now I do plan on showing the video output on this machine, which I'm very proud to do, because like I said, you will be able to find about 7 videos regarding this machine on YouTube, but none of them are really outputting a nice, crisp picture like I was able to get out of this machine. Now I got to tell you, this is not a mint quality machine. This is a very old machine. It's very used. And I will be giving you a few tips on this video regarding maintenance on this machine. So let me go ahead and eject it. Now you cannot eject it just by pressing this down. You have to go ahead and press this to the left, like so. What that did right there, it went ahead and placed that gray plastic cover back into the tape itself. And after you do that, you are able to eject this tape after you press down right here, like so. I'm holding it because let me go ahead and do it. It's very noisy. Let me go ahead and do it. It's very loud. I don't really like doing this. I try holding it because it's not very nice to the tape. Look at this. I'm gonna press this down. Yeah, that's a very loud. Now I've seen comments regarding this format. Like I told you, I never really used this format when I was a kid because it was released way before I was born. But I've read in the comments section, and please do place comments on my video. I would love to read the comments regarding people that actually use these machines back in the days. I would love to read those comments. I've read a lot of people, they love that sound. It was not nostalgic for them. They remember ejecting these tapes. They remember having to push this down, which is wonderful to know. It's wonderful to read those comments. I would love to get comments like that. So let me go ahead and take this tape out. And let me go ahead and show you what exactly I had to do in order to get this machine up and running. Now I gotta tell you, like I said, I'm not a professional, but I'm gonna tell you, I did not have to use a solder at all. I did not have to desolder anything. I did not have to change any capacitors on this machine. I did not have to change any transistors, any resistors. I did not have to make any bridges at all. All I had to do was maintenance. I have a lot of experience on VHS machines. Now, my father fixed VHS machines back in the days, back in the late 80s and early 90s, and he taught me a lot of things about maintenance. I gotta tell you, you will be surprised how many machines you'll get up and running just by doing maintenance. Okay, so when I bought this machine, I did not put a tape in it right away because I know it's a very bad idea. I gotta tell you, when you get a very old machine like this, or even older, it's a very bad idea to go ahead and place the tape in here and press play, because it's a very high chance that it'll eat up the tape. Because whenever you buy a machine like this, don't expect it to be clean. Now, this machine was insanely dusty when I purchased it. When I say insanely, it's because this motor right here, okay, this huge motor right here, it does have, in fact, a fan right over it to help cool it down. And that fan pretty much acts like a vacuum. It pretty much sucks up all the dust that you'll have in the air. This machine pretty much acts like a vacuum when you're using it. That's why it was so dusty when I first got this machine. As you can see, it's kind of shiny here. This was not shiny at all. This was thick. There was dust bunnies all over this machine. It took me a long time to clean this machine. Okay, and now I'm not 100% sure, but I did go ahead and do it. Now, regarding older machines, I'm talking about, I turned that off. I don't really want to get shocked today. I've been shocked in the past, which I really don't mind. Okay, anyways, now this is something that a lot of people don't talk about because they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know that many of these late 70s and the early 80s machines, they use a lot of hot glue on these boards right here. Now, specifically on this machine, we have the white colored hot glue. I went ahead and I removed that hot glue because, believe it or not, that hot glue becomes semi-conductive. After about 20 years, that white colored hot glue does in fact become semi-conductive. And what that does, it creates playback problems. For example, when I first got this machine, I would I would press play, and this play button would immediately pop right back up. Now, I've seen that on many machines. I've seen that on beta machines. I've seen that on VHS machines. I've seen on CVC micro video cassette machines. I've seen that. And I've been able to fix that problem by simply removing the hot glue on these boards. Now, this board right here is in charge of the tracking, the recording, the skew, the audio as well. I did remove hot glue. Now, I'm not going to do it right now because I actually already did it. But I got to let you know, if you happen to come across a machine like this and you have that problem where you either press fast forward or rewind or the play. Now, regarding that, they did a very awful job on the placement of these buttons right here. Let me go ahead and show you. Let me show you the cover for this machine. It's very odd. Okay. Now this is the cover for this machine. As you can tell, the play button, they never actually placed a triangle, which is synonymous for the play button. They did put the word play on this. Like, for example, if you happen to come across a Japanese machine, obviously it's not going to say play right there. It's going to have Japanese writing on here. So it's going to be very confusing to know which of these buttons is actually the play button. And for some reason, they never actually place these triangles on the actual buttons. So when you have this machine open right here, it's going to be a little bit confusing to know which buttons to push. So I'll tell you right now, this is the play. This is the record. When you record, you have to press these two buttons down. Believe it or not, I do record on this machine, which is very fun. It's very fun to me to be able to record on a machine that's so old like this. It's so historical like this. I mean, at least to me. Now, this is the stop button. This is the rewind. And this is the fast forwarding. Okay, talking about fast forwarding, let's talk about the speeds at which you're able to fast forward on this VX format compared to the speed that you are able to fast forward, both fast forward and rewind on this format right here. So I gotta tell you right now, this machine, it takes a lot longer to both rewind and fast forward a tape. Both the rewind and the fast forwarding is not as fast as this machine. Let me go ahead and do that. I mean, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can actually see what I'm talking about, because you will be able to find wonderful websites online that talk about these machines, but there's nothing like actually seeing it in action. Let me go ahead and turn this on, and let me go ahead and press fast forwarding, and you'll be able to see how fast it is in fact able to fast forward. Let me press fast forward. See that right there? I mean, at least to me, that's not very fast. That's pretty slow. So in order to fast forward or rewind a v-cordII tape, that would take a long time. For example, if you had this machine for educational purposes, like in a school, where you would have to show a video to your classroom, and then you would have to rewind it after the first class saw it, and the second classroom would have to see the same video, this would take a long time to rewind. Now, regarding this format right here, let me go ahead and do it. Like I said, this is the beauty of YouTube. I have to actually eject it, and I'm gonna hold it. Like I don't really like ejecting it by itself. It's very noisy. By the way, there's an actual part missing right here. I actually removed that on purpose. Let me go ahead and show you. The reason I removed that is because I really want you to see what's going on here. Okay, let me kind of just place that part on top. Okay, now that would be this part right here. Okay, that part I actually removed. It gets placed right here. The reason I removed this, believe it or not, the machine, it works fine without this part. You don't really need it. But anyways, I removed that part so you can kind of see what's going on here better. So let me go ahead and place this tape in here again. Like I told you, this is going to be a very long video. I'm going to try my best to give this format the credit it deserves. So let me go ahead and, like I told you, you have to remove that plastic cover. You have to slide it like so. And let me go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and rewind this first. So let me go ahead and press rewind. Okay, well, actually I have to turn it on first. Okay. I kind of get confused between these two machines. They work so much differently. You have to turn it on, obviously. I mean, it's not going to do anything if it's not on. Okay, you turn it on. Let me go ahead and fast forward. Okay, so that's the fast forwarding. Now, at least to me, this is a lot faster. This would take a lot less time to be able to both rewind and fast forward a tape. Let me go ahead and press stop. So that would be something else to consider back in 1977. That it would take a lot longer to both rewind and fast forward one of these v-cordII tapes. It would take a lot less time to both fast forward and rewind one of these VX tapes. All right, so that's something that I really wanted people to know. I mean, there's not that many information on these machines. All right, so that's the fast forward and rewind. So I guess, let me go ahead and talk about these tuners here. Now, both of these machines do in fact have tuners. That would be the VHF tuner right here. Now, let me go ahead and let you listen to how this sounds.